Pum pum.
Yeah, I'm
The
not
first thing we say in the
We're here?
No, what's the first thing we say in the video?
Big Mitch. Take notes. Big Mitch.
We're here.
Oh man, now it's just
It's different this time.
What's up, guys? Big Mitch is back. Potentially Bondi, Fred Katz, they're putting it out there. Mitch did practice today, contact practice. Thibodeau has confirmed it. Mitch has been gone 4 months now. It's been so long. It was before the trades and everything even happened. It's a long time ago. And we're getting back our center who, if you don't remember, was starting the season off incredibly well. Was looking like he was going to be on the defensive, all defensive team in the NBA. Looked like he could have been in for defensive player of the year. Offensive rebounds, blocking shots. And now he's back and he's going to back up Isaiah Hartenstein. And the Knicks just get more and more dangerous.
Backup Isaiah Hartenstein is very important because there are a lot of things that Isaiah Hartenstein brings to this team that Mitch doesn't.
Yep.
No slack on Mitch because
We love Mitch. Mitch is the guy.
There are things that Isaiah does. He's very intelligent.
Yep.
And he is very aware of the entire court and where everyone is. And you can see it in his game. Mitch doesn't do that. However, Mitch has his strengths also, right? So Mitch can block at the rim.
Yep.
Mitch can Mitch can block at
Block
the rim, right?
Yeah.
Block party. So I think it's fantastic that he's going to come off the bench. It only makes sense for him to come off the bench. There's no way that he should be starting at all. He hasn't been with the team. I mean, to be honest, we didn't forget. We knew that obviously he was injured and he was going through his rehab, but it almost seems like he's not part of the team anymore because he hasn't been playing. We haven't seen him in action. So it would not make sense to bring him on as a starter at all. I'm sure that he recognizes that also. And him coming off the bench is going to be so valuable for us because now we're going to have that depth in our bench that we had before, right? And now, when we lost quickly, we were kind of like, oh, we lost some of that depth on the bench. So I think we can still have some of that.
And look at Deuce. Deuce has filled that role. We got a lot to talk about with Deuce. That's going
to be fantastic.
But no, you summed it up, right? Mitch is, I think, regardless of how well Hartenstein has been playing, even if he wasn't playing this well, it would just make sense for Mitch to start off on the bench, get back into things. Playoff basketball is intense. You don't want to rush him back into it. Chances are he's going to be on some kind of minutes restriction regardless. You don't come back from like an ankle injury like that, miss all those months, and then go to play big minutes, right?
Exactly.
He was always going to come back slowly, but in terms of, like you brought it up perfectly, in terms of the offense, how things work, Hartenstein in that short role, unstoppable. If Jaylen Brunson's in trouble, he's getting trapped. Get it to Hartenstein, he's making a play. He's great vision. He's a great passer.
Spreads the court.
He understands basketball, right? He's a high IQ guy. In LA, when he played for the Clippers, they utilized him a lot as a playmaker. And we didn't do that much at all in the first season. Tibbs did a little bit towards the end of the year, but because of necessity this year, and I'm gonna give Tibbs credit. He keeps growing, keeps expanding, keeps trying new things. Isaiah Hartenstein has just flourished with this offense. I think he just fits what the starting lineup does with Jaylen Brunson. When Randall gets back, when OG's there, when Dante's there, he just fits that group so well. And what Mitch is gonna bring to the bench, a bench that's been good because we're getting crazy contributions right now from guys like Deuce. Precious hasn't had a good last couple of games with Precious, killing it for a long time. Now you're getting Mitch back, where you have Bojan and Alec Burks, who have both been struggling, right? Just kind of not looking like they fit in with the Knicks, not hustling, looking old, right? I've been seeing my guy on Twitter, Trav, he's been saying that he looks like Al Bundy.
Oh my goodness, he does. He actually does.
But I'll say this. Listen, I had faith in Bogdanovic. He's older and a little bit older than he was looking to me earlier in the season. But I do think there's still a way he can work as a spot-up shooter. But the point of bringing this up the reason I'm bringing this up is Mitch will make Bogdanovic and Burks, whichever one plays. I don't think you should play both. I think you should play one or the other. What he's going to do to them is make their defensive mistakes. He's going to basically cover them.
He's going to eliminate them.
He's going to be at the rim now. You're getting a starting center, right? A guy who is a top-level defender at the highest level, right? Mitch has had Nikola Jokic, the man we're playing tomorrow night. Mitch has had him in trouble.
Yeah.
Right? So we're talking about him now playing bench units. Last year, he destroyed Jared Allen and Evan Mobley for the Cavs. He kills that series on the offensive glass, bullies them, and now he's bullying backup centers with Isaiah Hartenstein doing this thing. Right. You basically mean teams are going to play the Knicks and have to deal with 48 minutes minutes of 2 starting caliber centers. And not just
Fantastic.
like, oh, they're good enough to start. 2 guys that I think could play for any team in the NBA. There's not a team in the NBA that Mitchell Robinson and Zaire Hartenstein would not get major minutes on. Even in Denver, if they were there with Jokic, of course, they would get big minutes off the bench. They would figure things out. So these are guys that are starting level players, and not just starting, but very good starting level players.
Right.
Now they can split the load, which means for Hartenstein as well has been dealing with the Achilles.
Love it.
He's playing not as many minutes, right? If Hartenstein gets in foul trouble,
Yep.
now Mitch comes in.
Or any kind of injury.
Any kind of, like, it just gives us such a safety valve, and I don't know how teams are going to deal with this. I'm excited that he's back. I'm going to lower expectations. Like he's going to come out the gate gangbusters, killing it. It's going to take some time. But one thing Mitch said to something you said. Mitch said, he leaves some comments on Instagram sometimes, and he said there was a lineup with him starting, and he said, maybe I prefer to be off the bench. I could show more of what I can do. Now, Mitch has said some things on social media before, a little controversial. He's even alluded to not liking that they relegate him to just a shot blocker and a dunker, that he can do more, and he wants a chance to do more. But the way we play basketball, the ball's in Jaylen's hands, the ball's in Randall's hands. Mitch isn't getting a chance, per se, to do his thing.
Right.
And maybe he hasn't proven it in practice. You know, Tibbs is kind of old school. But with the bench, he's going to have a little bit more chance to show something.
Okay.
So I've seen Mitch do a couple of things. Sometimes when he takes the ball, dribbles twice and dunks it. He did it earlier this season, took it off the dribble. And I was like, oh shit, Mitch is doing that. So I'll just say this. If Mitch comes in and starts doing a little bit more stuff because he's with the bench.
Right.
And he just plays his regular game, the Knicks are looking pretty.
We're looking pretty. And you know what we got? We got a pretty good superstar
Yes!
on the New York Knicks. And I just want to mention, if you guys haven't heard me say this before, I always said that I never wanted the Knicks to get a superstar. I never wanted us to go out there and handpick a superstar like a LeBron James or a Steph Curry or a Kawhi Leonard, even though I like all of those players and they're great players. I always felt like I wanted us to either draft our own guy and make him into our superstar, or get a guy and maybe I never said get a guy and make him into a superstar, because I didn't know that was actually possible in a way. So I didn't really know that it was possible for us to get another player who was really good, and then for him to come here and flourish.
It's rare.
So much to the point where he has taken his game to a completely other level. He's taken his name to a completely other level in the league. And Jaylen Brunson has just, I mean, I don't even know. Words cannot explain or express how much he's brought to this franchise, not just in terms of being a superstar, as you said, on the court, but also off the court. We love this guy. I think you said to me, and I have to agree with you 1,000%, he is our favorite Knick player ever. Oof. And I'm saying that like ever. You guys know how long.
Listen.
Now there might be one other guy.
I mean, come on.
Who we also
my guy Clyde.
really like. But for like our kind of generation, well, your generation and even my generation. Oh, this is Clyde, by the way. This is my Clyde bobblehead, and I'm asking for a Jaylen Brunson bobblehead for my birthday. I'm asking Terrence to buy it for me, so let's see what happens.
Moms, you go get it. All right, if anyone in the comments wants to send my mom,
if you want to buy me a Jaylen Brunson bobblehead, I'll meet you somewhere. We'll exchange that. We'll exchange. You'll give it to me. So anyway, Jaylen Brunson, man. What more can you say about this guy?
You summed it up. I want to give a little context to the greatest, my favorite Knick ever comment. Mm-hmm. As someone who loves Patrick Ewing, my mom, literally, you've met Patrick Ewing in person in the 90s, right? We love Patrick Ewing. I think he represents everything. Obviously, to me, Jaylen hasn't passed him because he has to put in years of work. But in terms of me just watching the Knicks, and I was a kid when Ewing was playing, but in terms of me just watching the Knicks, I can't speak to Clyde as much as I love Clyde. I wasn't there. So in terms of me watching the Knicks, there's no one I've ever rooted for more, enjoyed watch play more, represented, I feel, the city like so well. We are blessed to have this guy. It's been fun to watch him go out there now and show the world, show the NBA. You watch every game. Now the commentators are like, oh, the Jaylen Brunson guy. And he's on this, to me, he's on a West Coast tour right now, like the Beatles.
Yep.
If you didn't believe in Jaylen Brunson, he went out West to prove it against De'Aaron Fox, against Steph Curry, and he's making sure national TV is seeing him.
Who he is.
To me, Jokic is going to win the MVP. I think it's pretty set already. But to me, you really think about most valuable player in a year where we're missing 3 starters for the bulk of the season.
I think it's Jaylen Brunson, actually.
I think it's Jaylen Brunson, right? There's some talk now that he's rising up the rankings. Fred Katz put out a report today that the executives are talking. We'll see where he ends up. To me, I just hope he ends up top 5. I think he deserves it. If the Knicks go on a run to end the season, we end up in the 2 or 3 seed, which is possible, right? Jalen's gonna he'll rise up those rankings. I feel though, in terms of just value, he's putting the city, he's putting the state on his back. He's put the franchise on his back. He's done everything he's had to do, and then some. He's been the leader. Emotionally, he's everything. He inspires you off the court in your own life. I was running the other day, and I was like, Jaylen Brunson would run more miles, so I pushed and ran more. I love this guy. We're blessed to have him. Let's talk about this West Coast road trip. Knicks 3-0 playing Denver tomorrow night, but the wins against the Kings with OG out there. OG missed that game, but OG, at the beginning of the road trip against the Blazers, OG screams out in pain twice. We find out now. More hurt there. They expected it, they say, but the Knicks are pretty secretive with injuries. Yeah. MRI came back clean, so there's no further damage. And as far as I understood from OG's injury, they removed like bone fragments that were loose. So the new bone fragments aren't loose now.
Right.
It's not. They took it out. That was the whole point.
They removed everything. Right.
What you can deal with, from what I've been reading, I'm not a doctor. Where from what I've been reading. Soreness of using the muscle. Mm-hmm. And this was a report that came out, but it's something I kind of believe because OG's had a lot of injuries in his career, but they're all pretty random. Mm-hmm. It's not like he has a debilitating problem. Right. It's like all these really random injuries. And some people don't have like a high pain threshold. Mm-hmm. It means they can't play or operate with pain.
With the pain, right.
Like a little tweak throws them way off. With OG, you saw his shooting was off. You can see him thinking through his form. It wasn't there. Mm-hmm. Other guys can be banged up and keep going. I think Jaylen Brunson is one of those guys.
Oh.
Right? So, it's fine. At this point, the way the Knicks are playing, I'm like, get OG ready for the playoffs. If he can sit for 2 weeks, whatever, I just need this guy to be able to play playoff minutes. And Mitch coming back helps out a lot. Because now the defense just goes to another level. I'm too hype about Mitch. But West Coast road trip, real quick. 3-0, playing Denver tomorrow night. And on this trip, we've proven ourselves, I feel, on another level. What have you seen just in terms of the general vibe of the team on this trip that's making you feel, how excited I feel like you are?
Yeah, like I mean, as much as we keep saying, these guys really like each other and they have a good camaraderie, like they talk about it as well. Like, they talk about the fact that they do like each other. And it goes to show you, it's not necessarily about having the best players in the league on your team, but it is so important that these pieces fit together.
Yes.
And to me, these pieces fit together so well. And those 3 guys, having played at Villanova together, I think could end up being a new trend that starts happening around the league. Not necessarily 3 guys, I know I mentioned this to you already, but it could be getting 2 guys that played together in college that did really well, because there is something to be said about having a trust factor, knowing the person, kind of like knowing their next move, knowing their thought process, knowing how they carry themselves, and getting along with that person.
Yeah.
Right? And I think I think coaches will start to see that and see that, oh, you know what? The Knicks did this, and those 3 guys really work and play well together. And I think that could be a thing. I mean, the fact that they play so hard.
That's the thing.
They don't give up at all. Like, you see it. You see their, like, you know what? They play like they're really hungry every single game and every single quarter. Yep. Like, you don't see them come back. Like, for years we would joke about the 3rd quarter of doom for the Knicks. And that's not even a thing anymore. Even the 4th quarter, like, it's not a thing. Like, you see
we don't drop leads.
No.
Like, I think we're 17-0 when we're up. I had to look up the stat, but we're like 17-0 on the road when we have like our record going into the thing is crazy.
We don't drop leads. We play with passion.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what I feel when I watch the team. Like, and what happens is that every new person that comes in, I'm not really seeing it with Burks and Bogdanovich, actually, but all the other guys that come in, it's like you see what's happening in the team, and then you just adapt to that.
Fall in line.
You adapt to that way that way of play, that way of life, whatever. So I definitely, this trip, like, they went out there to kind of prove, I think.
They did their job already to me. I mean, I went tomorrow night.
We thought that, so I was going to be completely happy if they went 2-2.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, that would be a good road trip for us. So the fact that they went 3 so far, we got the game tomorrow. It's a toss-up. Let's see what happens. But I know, the funny thing is, normally I would have said, oh, they're playing Denver. They're the champions. We're not going to win that game.
And we're down 3 starters.
My thought process is not like that anymore.
That's
My
crazy,
thought
right?
process is very, very different. When I watch these Knicks now, I am not like that. Not that I was like gloom, but as Knicks fans, we know what it's been like all this time.
Yeah.
So now the way that I think about this team is so much more positive, so much more like, oh, they can beat anyone.
Anything can happen.
I think that they can beat anyone. And they play with so much effort. They give 110% every night. And I love it. And there's not one Knicks fan out there right now, I think, that doesn't believe, like truly believe that we can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like,
or beyond.
But let's get there first.
Let's get
and
there.
I think that we all feel like, yeah, you know what? This team could do it. This team could adjust.
Yeah.
Right? They can adjust. And like you said, listen, big ups to Leon Rose, who has made these chess moves and sat quietly.
Doesn't say a word. Never talks about it.
The media is still upset. Michael K. Show, they're still upset that the Knicks doesn't offer their team players up to come and do interviews.
Right.
Because they're saying, well, they're doing interviews amongst themselves, meaning they have their roommate show, they have their podcast, and they're going out there. So the thing is, these guys are all becoming celebrities in their own right, especially Jaylen Brunson, and they're out there, they are talking, and they are on, doing their Hot Wings Versus show and doing all this stuff, but they're not going to these media outlets to go and do little interviews, and they're pissed. But that's what's working, guys. This is what is working. They're being very quiet. They're not being proud, even though they could be, right? They're kind of keeping very humble, and I want to say, I again think that's Jaylen Brunson. Jaylen Brunson has set the tone, like this is how we're going to operate, and everyone is just falling into place. I am loving this team so much. And I'm so excited for the playoffs to start. We have to buy our tickets.
You're going to have to sell a liver or two.
They're kind of expensive.
Sell a liver or two.
But we have to buy our tickets.
Yeah. I think you summed it up perfectly. Like, I can't say more to everything you said. Excellent. I will say this. You're talking about the fact that teams have these expectations of us, right? They're looking at us now. They're seeing the vibe. You could tell players are talking about us different. Draymond was on his podcast. I heard. So players are talking about us different. But one thing with Leon Rose and how he's built this and how he took his time to build it, and he's made mistakes, right? It's not like it's all been perfect. Right now,
look, Obi Top. Actually, let's go back.
Yeah,
Frank Ntilikina.
Well, that wasn't him.
I know,
but Obi,
but
you could argue either way. Maybe Obi didn't work out. If you see what I mean. Right now, the Grimes trade. I'm right. The Grimes trade could be a bit of a miss. We'll see what happens in the playoffs, right? But what he's always done, you also had the Kemba signing, which didn't work out. We moved some pieces there.
That was so quick, in and out.
The Fournier signing, if you look at it over the course, you could blame different people, but it didn't really work out. Mm-hmm. But what he's done, he's been able to pivot. Right? It's not about if you get it right or wrong. It's how do you operate. And
how do you fix it?
How do you fix it? But also, what's your process like? If your process is there and your strategy is there and your system's in place, it means one wrong thing can't break the system if the system is there. So you make one mistake, you already have this systemic way you already thought about how will I get out of this mistake if this is a mistake, right? We kept moving, we kept pivoting, kept moving things around. In the end, we end up with this roster. And if the Burks and Bogdanovich trade doesn't come to, bear fruits, if you will, in the playoffs, then this summer we're just going to trade them with a pick and remix it again, right? Nothing we're doing is a fatal blow.
And we're not going to disrupt the whole team.
Right. We're treading water, we're making things work, and then we're excelling and improving the thing over time. So really excited about this team. Just quick shout out to Deuce McBride. This one is kind of Leon Rose, but it goes beyond just the Knicks franchise being a franchise where guys can come in, learn to play hard, learn the basics, and then become guys in this NBA. That's what I always wanted. I said, more so than a ring, I want a ring. All right, more so than just a ring, though. I wanted the Knicks to be a good franchise. I wanted the Knicks to be the Spurs. I wanted the Knicks to be a franchise where you knew year in, year out, they're going to do smart things. And the players will want to come there. Not great players, just any players. Players with the right mentality. Because they're like, it almost is like an elite college. Like it's Harvard or something. I want to go to Harvard. I want to go to the Knicks. Going to the Knicks means I'm going to get this crazy fan base, right? I'm going to get, people who care about basketball around me. I'm going to play hard. I'm going to play New York basketball. This team sums it up. And Deuce, I think, is the epitome of it. Takes his chance against Steph Curry. He's been playing well all year, but he's taking this to another level. He's in the playoff rotation for sure. And I think a lot of guys in the league don't know how good Deuce is. And he's going to show it. He's on a crazy contract. We traded quickly in RJ and signed Deuce the next day to a long deal. Right? For $13 million total. He's 23. At 26 years old, he's going to be making like $3 million a year when the cap is going to be whatever it is. So insane. That just shows it, right? Not just from the smallest player like Deuce who made his way up.
Right.
From the top, from Leon Rose, thinking ahead, strategy-wise, Brock Aller locking in the contract. it's just going to keep happening. The Knicks should never be a bad franchise again. We should be able to run this over and over. This summer, the draft, we should be getting another gay culture guy who's going to come in there, get things done, and keep it moving, making trades, improving. We shouldn't just be contenders now.
No, we're not.
We're
not.
I
think so. As you're saying
that,
we have now built a team that is going to have longevity
Yep.
in the NBA. I
Yep.
100% believe that, and we went through so much to get there. Like you said, it didn't just happen. Exactly. Like we made some wrong choices along the way, but I think that makes it even better.
Yeah.
Because it kind of shows like, okay, we tried this, we tried that, and now we've slowly built this really solid, good culture. More than anything.
A lot of it. Listen, I've been saying this. We got a team of rejects. Brunson, not rejected per se, but judged too small, can't lead a team. We'll see. DiVincenzo wasn't really a guy people were looking for when you go to the NCAA. Had a great tournament right before the draft. I remember watching him for Villanova. He was crazy, shot up the leaderboards. Has been good in the NBA, but has played for like 4 different teams. No one really committing to him, right? Josh Hart, he's played for the Pelicans, for the Blazers, for the Lakers. He's moved around a little bit. Nobody really committing to him. Precious, throwing in the deal. They sent him over here. Hartenstein, another guy, bounced around a little bit. Good guy. People knew he was good. Nobody believed him. No one wanted Randall. No one in the NBA wanted Julius Randle when he came to the Knicks, right? They didn't care.
Right.
He was a consolation prize after KD and Kyrie. Look at him now, right? Deuce, second-round draft pick, playing in the G League. Look at him now, right? So we've just built this team. Mitch, remember Mitch's college stuff?
Yes.
Didn't play in college,
Yes.
dropped to 36. We didn't know about this guy. He didn't go to school. Who could he be? We develop him. Never has an issue, by the way. Mitch just does his job. No run-in. So we become a team of grinders, of guys from the city who represent the city, even if they're not from the city. They got the mentality, and it's just a joy to watch. These games are so much fun to watch. I know you guys are having a blast at home. Let us know in the comments if you're still here. What do you think of the road trip? What do you think of the team this season? What do you think about Mitch coming back? It's been a hell of a season. Like, I'm trying to live in the moment. It's the last thing I'll say about this. It's so easy to project. Oh, we got to re-sign Hartenstein. Is that going to happen? We're going to have to choose between him and Precious. Who are we going to draft?
But don't. Just enjoy where we are now.
Just listen, because we're going to talk about this team in 3, 4, 5 years. No matter what. If we win a championship, right, we're going to go back and be like, man, we're 2-time champions now. But remember when we first started getting good? Remember what that year felt like? When it was the Villanova trio just out there killing it every game? When Jaylen just started getting recognition? Now he's a star, but he knows him? Come on.
So excited, guys. Let's hear from you. We'll reply to any comments that you have. Yes, we're not filming on a regular basis because we just can't. We can't get it together. We're both busy, and that's just what it is, right? So we'll film what we film. We are going to the playoffs, so I think we can try to make an effort to film during that period as well. Right?
For sure. There'll be more videos coming, for sure.
Let's see. Who are we playing? Who are we... where do you think... Let me just ask this one question, and you guys can answer as well. Where do you think we are going to end up in the playoff standings?
Okay, I'm going to be real.
Because we're 4 right now. And this year, we're 4 right now, and we are solidly 4. Whereas that year, we kind of came in at 4. That was kind of a surprise for us, right?
2021,
this feels like, okay, like, legit, this is where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
But we could slide down a little bit.
It's right now, the team, even without OG, they're just doing so well. I've been saying for a long time, we just need one of the 3 back. Right? Because the team plays so well. I just think we need like one extra body, right? If you get Randall back, your scoring goes up, right? You got another guy to take the load off Brunson. And Brunson plays even better because now the attention's on Randall.
Yes.
That's one. If you get OG back, you know what it is. We've seen OG back. 15-2 with OG. Incredible defense. Best defense in the league. If you get Mitch back, you're not getting the OG level impact. But now you're getting one of the best defensive centers in the league. And now you're giving a break to Hartenstein, which is going to make him play better. Every single one of the guys that are out brings multiple effects with them. I just knew we needed one of them. Right. So Mitch is back, right? I mean, I'm saying this like he's playing tonight or tomorrow. Tomorrow night. We'll see. Probably after the road trip. Right? So if Mitch is back, maybe they'll take a week. We'll see. That's just going to bring the defense on the backup unit up to another level. Hartenstein, like I said, is going to rest more. So I think he's going to be better.
So where are we going to be in the standings?
That's
the question.
My gut feeling, because it is good news with Mitch now, I'm like, okay, whatever happens with OG and Randall, I can give them 3 weeks and see what happens. I think we're going to finish in the 3 seed.
Okay. All right.
There's an outside shot at 2, but I think we're going to push. We're going to finish in the 3 seed. The schedule gets a little bit easier after this trip. And we can go on a little bit of a run here, make things happen. Man, what a good time to be a Knicks fan. And if you see the bandwagoners out there, people who weren't rocking with us all this time.
It's all good. Accept them. You want to join the best team? It's all good.
Okay, I like that. All right, that's it. Peace.